What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're diving in with a few bits of news and some updates for Destiny 2. And firstly, this week Bungie have dropped some season fixes, specifically for activity content, which we'll cover in the video. Plus there's been a lot of talk about secret missions and Bungie's plan for them in future. They give a few updates on their outlook for hidden content coming up. On top of this though, we'll discuss some Season 19 rumours, playlist updates and more coming in the future, so a bit of a mixed bag in this light content week, but I hope you guys dig the video, and without further delay, let's get into it. First thing to mention briefly right here, but early this week DMG teased TWAB Thursday. It's a kind of a suggestion that the TWAB might be a decent one this week. I'm sure there is more information that they want to give us ahead of Season 19. Plus there's the possibility of the community event to end this season, which if it's going to drop will be in the next couple of weeks, so could be an interesting one on Thursday, and as always I'll keep you guys posted. Next though, on Tuesday we got hotfix 6254, and this was primarily to fix a few issues with season content. So for the patch notes, they fixed an issue where players were not able to acquire the Scallywag seal due to being blocked by the Semaphore Signals Triumph. But that Triumph is no longer needed for the Scallywag seal, and players can still unlock the Triumph for the score. But if a player has a character that has finished the quest but are blocked by the issue, they must progress on characters that have not yet finished the quest. And for maximum efficiency and unlocking radio content, we don't advise progressing on this quest on multiple characters. And they also say beware, only one radio entry can be played per visit to the Elixni Quarter, and if players have made significant progress through the sales of the Shipstealer quest, such that they have multiple radio entries available, they'll need to go to orbit and return to the Elixni Quarter between each message. It's a bit of a weird one right there, but at least there is a workaround. And also for activity fixes, they say dialogues in Catch Crash and Expedition will now respect a character's progress through the seasonal narrative and play contextually appropriate lines. So just a couple of updates right there for the activity content. And yet another hotfix for the season. Bungie have been dropping a lot of hotfixes over the past few seasons. So despite the fact that there are bugs, at least we are getting some fixes. Moving on though, we have a couple of other updates from Bungie. And initially on Twitter they said Bungie support here, and the issue with the Telesto exotic weapon exhibiting unintended sentient behaviour has been resolved, and the weapon is now behaving normally again. We do not anticipate any other issues with Telesto in the future. Thank you for your patience. And so Telesto is back to its normal self. I am curious to see if Bungie elaborate on any technical elements of what they've done with Telesto and whether they're testing some new technology for weapons and perks in the future. Who knows? Especially since Telesto's behaviour changed a couple of times through the week. Give us your thoughts about it down below. A couple of days back though, Bungie said due to an issue causing players to be unable to alter their cross-save setups, we've temporarily disabled cross-save, but they highlight that the issue has now been resolved and players can go ahead and activate cross-save or add new platforms to their existing setup. There's also a link for any players on Stadia who are trying to set up cross-save and maybe having issues, so that tweet will be linked down below. Next though, David Aldridge from Bungie jumped in on Reddit and didn't ask me anything on engineering at Bungie. And they spoke about secret missions and exotic quests. Of course, something we've been lacking in seasons recently, going back to when we had things like the Whisper or the 0 Hour mission. And particularly there was a conversation about encrypting and classifying that content and Bungie's ability to actually hide it. And he said it's very expensive to encrypt every piece of content that's related to a secret mission to avoid data mining. And so far the team has concluded that it makes more sense to spend on more cool experiences instead. And some folks took this as Bungie confirming that they don't plan to do secret missions or exotic quests of that nature in the future, but it turns out that isn't actually the case. And David Aldridge on Reddit clarified that it just means that thus far we haven't decided it was worth investing in encryption. That could change in the future. And he adds that he hasn't seen the presence or absence of encryption feed into decisions on whether to make secret missions. It says there at the end that data mine leaks don't make us shy away from adding those things to the game. And so it's just worth bearing in mind Bungie haven't said that they don't plan to do these kind of secrets in the future. And DMG went on to say on Twitter to speak further on the feedback of we want more secret quests. The feedback is heard. That said, he clarifies he isn't making the statement that Bungie are promising more secrets. And he adds that as we've seen with the Telesto micro event and recent patch notes, anything can become a potential secret in the minds of players. If we say nothing, it's taken to be the start of a secret. But even if we specifically say there is no secret, folks immediately start looking for one. Every step is a moment to learn and absorb feedback, so we'll continue to try new things like the Telesto week, even if they have a similar vibe to the start of a secret. We've gotten a ton of great feedback from this week, and we're are excited to build on it. He does finish by saying though that ultimately surprise and delight is the name of the game, but not every surprise can be a 60-hour community spanning puzzle, and I'd highly recommend resetting expectations accordingly, and we'll keep passing the feedback around for desires for more secrets up the chain. So certainly an interesting conversation, I think, right there. Obviously, creating mission content like 0 Hour, Presage, or the Hawkmoon mission, all of that stuff is pretty expensive, and it definitely takes a chunk of the budget that Bungie have for seasonal content. At the same time though, they are some of the more anticipated bits of content in a season, right? Exotic quests and the buzz that there's something new definitely qualify as fond memories and exciting gameplay experiences for players. So give us your thoughts below. I definitely would love to see more exotic quests, secret missions, and some of those more kind of mid-season content drops that help to re-engage players for a couple more weeks. We'll see what we get in Season 19, and Lightfall, obviously, being a big expansion, we would certainly expect to see a few things like that. But again, share your thoughts in the comment section. Next thing I wanted to mention right here though are some supposed leaks for Season 19. They're not absolutely huge, but these come from D2 Leaks on Twitter, who have previously posted stuff that's turned out to be correct. And they essentially say that Season 19 will be a season for preparation for war, and there potentially could be some deaths. And they say next season for Rasputin weapons, and they quote Chris Proctor recently speaking about seeing a Saint 14 beat or a Rasputin beat, and how they would potentially be times to bring weapons back from Dawn or Worthy. And so they're suggesting that it'll be a Rasputin-themed season. And they say themselves that there isn't any information about things like activities. In terms of Season 19 plot, it'll be a war preparation season directly leading up to the release. So I guess some interesting commentary, although in terms of the potential plot, we've seen that previously, right? Things like Season of Arrivals, where there is a really strong tie to the upcoming expansion. And so even if leaks weren't legit, it's a pretty good guess that that's what we'll see. There also is speculation in general that we could see a Rasputin-themed season, based on some of the lore that was found at the evidence board in Witch Queen. You might define it as a loose possibility, but there certainly must be more to the Rasputin and a Bray story. So that is also a decent possibility for Season 19 regardless. In terms of confirmed content though, Bungie have spoken about a lot of weapon changes, some ability tuning, and Joe Blackburn has teased that we're going to get more information on potential competitive PvP updates later this month. So there could be some stuff on the PvP front as well. Plus we'll see a new dungeon launching December 9th, but otherwise we're going to have to wait for reveals. And for today, guys, that's what I have to speak about in the video. Of course, we are in the quieter times for the season, and it's a busy point for other game releases. But we're only 2.5 weeks away from Season 19, so not long until we at least get a peek at what we might see for the new content drop. If you've enjoyed the video today though, a rating below really does help us out. Feel free once again to share any thoughts you may have in the comment section. Plus, if you want to see more content in the future, be sure to get subscribed to the channel. And otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome day.